Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses, so further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some breaking news with regard to an S1 that's just been released, and this is from Next Bridge Hydrocarbons, and there is also talk of a new company called Newco, so we're going to be looking at that as well, and also news with regard to AST, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to be looking at the AK that was released yesterday, and this is looking at an SEC investigation, so we're going to be looking at what that means and potential implications and opinions of that. So before we get started, let's have a quick look at what's happening in the market. So there was also huge news in the markets today. So headline here, first of all, from Reuters, US stocks have a muted reaction following a Fed rate hike. So the Fed did put the interest rates up today, and in terms of overall general market, it has been a little bit mixed, but Alphabet did do exceptionally well, and there was a beat in earnings from Q2, especially with profit. Microsoft shares did go down as AI spending is growing faster than revenue. Boeing did well, that is going up, and as Q2 cash flow is improved, and obviously we know that the interest rates went up. So in other news with regard to Xpeng, we can see here that obviously Xpeng is something that is also doing exceptionally well today, and there was news, and this is a stock that was covered previously in a number of videos, and we can see here Xpeng rallies 40% on Volkswagen's $700 million investment. So congratulations to everybody in Xpeng, and this has done exceptionally well. Let's now have a look at news with regard to the S1. So what I posted earlier is that Next Bridge Hydrocarbons has filed an S1 related to distribution by Next Bridge Hydrocarbons of non-transferable subscription rights to receive at no cost shares of common stock of the new subsidiary of Next Bridge Hydrocarbons to be formed in the future. So stay tuned for this new subsidiary. In order to be an eligible stockholder to receive the subscription rights, holders must register their Next Bridge common stock directly with the company's transfer agent. So transfer agent we know is AST. So what I've stated here for everybody to be aware of, it looks like the company wants you to move your shares with AST. So that is something you need to consider. There is a deadline. I'm going to go through that shortly as well. But in my other post here, what I've stated, again, following on, if you want subscription rights, you must tell your broker to register your shares with AST. So from this new S1 filing, it states here, in the event of a stockholder wants to directly register their NextBridge shares with AST to receive the subscription rights, NextBridge stockholders will need to contact their broker, whoever your broker is, to initiate the direct registration. More information about direct registration process is available on the investor relations page. So I am aware that a lot of brokers will be hesitant to do this, but I think as a community we do need answers. We need to make them aware that this is something that is going to be needed to be done, and I know this is also significant concern in Europe, especially for people through Trading 212. So I am waiting for a response from the company, so tomorrow we will put pressure and ask them, and I do expect hopefully to get some news from brokers such as Trading 212. And the other post that I shared is again the new company, which I've stated, or should we say the new subsidiary, is going to be called Newco. So will you get Newco common stock for your Next Bridge Hydrocarbon shares? So let's have a look at the information here from the company, and what they have stated here is in the press release we can see here use of proceeds, continuing with the S1, neither Next Bridge Hydrocarbons nor Newco will receive any proceeds from the exercise of subscription rights. It's currently anticipated that the Newco common stock will not be listed for trading on any stock exchange. So it's not going to be a public company, it's not going to be on the OTC, it's not going to be trading, it's going to be a private company, just like Next Bridge Hydrocarbons or market, and nor will the shares of Newco common stock be eligible for electronic transfer through the DTC or any other established clearing corporation. Accordingly, there would not be any public trading for the Newco common stock, nor is there any expectation at this time for a public market to develop. So a lot of things happening here. So let's, as stated earlier, move straight on to the press release. So this dated 26th of July 2023. Next Bridge Hydrocarbons Incorporates announces a filing for registration statement on Form S1 to benefit existing shareholders. The key thing there is benefit existing shareholder. So it looks like they are trying to put pressure on the short positions, because the shorts will not have any entitlement whatsoever to ownership of the common stock. The common stock is owned by the retail investors so that have or will register stock directly with the company's transfer agent. So this is a big move by the company. So what I've highlighted in yellow on the press release here is the non-transferable subscription rights are only being distributed to eligible stockholders of Next Bridge. So this is everyone who is eligible, is who has bought MMTLP or who has acquired MMTLP as an original legacy holder. So both of you will be entitled to this distribution. In order to be eligible stockholders to receive the subscription rights, holders must register their Next Bridge common stock directly with the company's transfer agent, AST. And this is where we need to put pressure on the brokers at or prior to the close of business on the 60th day after the Form S1 filed with the SEC becomes effective. So you now have 60 days. The clock is ticking, and as far as I'm concerned, my personal decision will be obviously, first of all, I need to wait for what Trading 212 gets back in terms of an update from them. If they allow us to transfer to AST, or if they do it on behalf of us, then I will be doing that as well, and maintain such registration with the transfer agent for 180 days thereafter. So obviously you have to keep that for 180 days after, obviously to qualify. Holders cannot be bank or broker or other nominee that is determined by the company. So it must be just the retail investors, nobody else. As such, the extent that a shareholder holds its common stock through a broker and fails to directly register its stock with the company's transfer agent, then such stockholder will not receive the subscription rights described in the prospectus, including as part of the Form S1. So after 60 days, you are going to lose your right to receive Newco. So very, very important that you're aware of that. You have 60 days. And Next Bridge will be entering into a contribution agreement with Greg McCabe. And just to finish off on this S1, a quick reaction here from Todd, who's come up with a reply to one of my posts, and he says, we may be on the path to find out how many available spots are left on the bus. So let's wait and see. I'll have a look at the key takeaways from the SEC investigation announced in the new 8K filing. So what I posted earlier here, the SEC investigation has been announced in a new 8K filing into, amongst other things, the merger involving Torchlight Energy Resources Incorporated and Metamaterials. And hopefully this will give us all, including John Berda and George Palikaros, an opportunity to set the record straight and provide us with some of the answers that we've been looking for. And also we're looking forward to an imminent update from Next Bridge Hydrocarbons, and surprise, surprise, we just got that just a few minutes ago as well. So let's move on to have a look at this Form 8K. So we can see here again, this is also the date of this is July the 20th, 2023. But in terms of the key things I've highlighted here, under item 8.01 SEC investigation, on July the 20th, 2020, enforcement staff of the SEC provided Metamaterials and John Berda and George Palikaros Wells notice relating to previously disclosed SEC investigation Amongst other things, the merger involving TRCH and Metamaterials, so that is a key concern that they have. The SEC staff have made a preliminary determination to recommend the SEC file a civil enforcement action against recipients. So bear in mind, no allegations of criminal, obviously misdemeanors here. Its focus here is on civil enforcement action against recipients alleging violations of certain provisions of the US. We're going to look at those potential provisions and violations shortly as well. They would allege that violations of section 17A all the way up to regulation FD, so we're going to come back to that shortly as well. But our Wells noted neither a formal charge of wrongdoing nor final determination that the recipient has violated any law. So there's no confirmation here that anybody has done anything illegal, so nobody's been convicted, nobody's been proven to have done anything. At the moment, these are just questions, and this is completion of an investigation, and we can see it states it allows the recipients, we're talking about George and John, to address the issues raised by the enforcement staff, so they confident will now respond. The SEC could seek to order barring the individuals from serving as an officer or director of a public company. So in other words, they could be struck off, or it could seek disgorgement of an amount that may exceed the company's ability to pay. So maybe it could be a significant fine, or maybe it could be a mistake by the SEC. The company's board of directors are reviewing the Wells notice, but has yet to determine its next course of action. So we'll wait to see what's happening. So in order to give a simple picture of everything, what I have done for everybody here, I have put the key investigation part of the SEC into BARD, which is obviously using AI technology to explain everything here. So let's have a look at the response from BARD. The question was, the following are some of the violations of the Wells notice, and obviously can you explain what they mean? So first of all, section 17A, it states here, of the Securities Act prohibits the use of manipulative or deceptive device in connection with the offer of sale of securities. This could include, for example, making false or misleading statements about a security or engaging in insider trading. So again, I've highlighted the key allegation there, or key question, insider trading. Section 10B and 13A, the Exchange Act prohibits the use of manipulative or deceptive device or contrivance in connection with the purchase or sale of securities. This could include, for example, making false or misleading statements about a security or engaging in insider trading. Again, so we have just had a repeat of insider trading twice. So again, the other thing I'm focusing on is making false or misleading statements. So again, this may be directed to George Palikaros, it may be directed to John Berder, we will have to wait and see. Rules 10BC and 14A9, specific rules that prohibit types of manipulative or deceptive conduct in connection with the purchase or sale of securities. So again, the allegation or question here, manipulative or deceptive conduct in either buying or selling. So for example, the rule prohibits untrue statement of material fact, or omitting to state a material fact necessary in order to make statements made not misleading, or prohibits the omission of misstatement of material information in proxy statements. And finally, regulation FD prohibits selective disclosure, so just disclosing what you want to disclose on material non-public information to investors. So we will be the investors, and people like George Palikaros will be the insider. He is not allowed to share confidential information with us, whether that is somebody trusted or not trusted. This means that if a company has material non-public information and it's about its financial performance or other matters, it must disclose that information to all investors at the same time. So we all have an equal right to know at the same time, and it cannot be selectively chosen. So this is a breakdown of what they have alleged in this SEC investigation. I'd like to finish off by having a look at some reactions to the investigation. So first shout out here is to Agent James, who stated, The investigation has been ongoing since September 2021. The Wells notice is signalling the end of the investigation and likely intent to take enforcement action. Junk Savia stated the Wells notice received by MMAT Palikaros and John Berda does not change or answer the central question of the MMTLP fiasco. So great point there, and I do agree with that. Either MMTLP investors were defrauded with counterfeit shares or we were not. So that is the question. If we as suspect neither George Palikaros, Metamaterials or John Berda created MMTLP, then who did? Great post there. What Hammer stated here, the street is exposed, the SEC, FINRA also, so they turn the fight around. So Hammer is suggesting that this is a little bit of revenge from the SEC and FINRA for all what we have put them through. So again, like they need to hide the facts, like the blue sheet. So some people suggest that the best form of defense is attack. So got a strong suggestion there. What Anna has stated here is, I wonder if this is in relation to MMTLP Canaccord Genuity, says it is under investigation by regulators and make a significant penalty to settle. So again, strong coincidence there, and certainly the timing is very, very interesting, but we will have to look at that. And finally, shout out here to MMA team man Marduk. He stated, I'm not going anywhere, you won't be able to get rid of me. And the key thing he's highlighted here is obviously with regard to the Wells notice, it's neither a formal charge of wrongdoing nor is a final determination. So remember, everybody is innocent until proven otherwise. And I think there are some significant developments going on, so stay tuned on Twitter for more posts on this, and I will also follow up with more updates in the next video. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.